what are you guys' thoughts on the new Black Thought album?
I didn't get to listen to it. It came out when Kanye came out. I can't do anything about that.
Yeah,
I wanted
yeah.
to listen to that 20 minutes forever. So that's what I did.
Yeah.
But I'm sorry. But had I known, I would have given it a listen. Because I like Black Thought. So.
Do you think the fact, well, obviously, Kanye's album like took a lot of, I don't want to say shine, but a lot of attention off of Black Thought's album.
It did.
Yeah, I
coming
would
out
agree.
at the same time.
That's hard to
It's
come out
hard.
with Kanye at the same time, especially when Kanye's doing what he's doing. That's a hard time to drop any type of music.
And then plus, like compared to like if you were at the day when I tried to look for the Black Thought album, like I had to just type it in.
It wasn't
Versus
in your
it
face.
wasn't on like the new
okay.
releases. So I
Really?
mean Kanye was like obviously
one
he
on
was
the new
right in there.
releases.
So when I wanted to look for that Black Thought album and Knife Wonder album collab, I literally had to
to
just
look it
type
up.
it. Yep. And then what's interesting too is Noah James brought it up a few days ago was on the EP. It was just strictly lyrics. There was no chorus like what you would anticipate with every song. So that was very intriguing. So once I found that out, like it just gave a new listening experience, like listening to the album. So
Yeah, it was cool because I listened to it literally like 5 minutes before leaving the house, and then on the car right here, and David said the same thing. He said, "Yeah, there's no chorus," and I'm like, "Oh, that's actually I guess refreshing." Because I think a lot of music we listen to nowadays, like the biggest thing. I mean, obviously chorus are big, hooks and whatnot. It's a big part of music. But I think listening to a project, 5 tracks without any, it's like seamless because there's no like hook to remember. It's like a constant. Like you got to be listening to it because it's bar after bar. There's no catchy hook in there, which is cool. Because I like songs that I don't think every song needs a chorus, but I think obviously some for like to appeal to a lot of people, you need a chorus. But I just like when an artist like just goes, like bars out and just lets it all happen. Because then it feels like I told it on David, sounds like it was more of a song, a project that you could find on like Dat Piff.
Okay.
Yeah, you know, you're like, yeah. But like I've been told David, it's cool because if you know you're relevant in the music industry or you know you have fans and you're at that level, it's like, why would you want to put like a 5 single project out when you could put it on this? But then you know the sound could be on Dat Piff because not saying it's bad or anything, but Dat Piff, you know, you got your mixtapes and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's like, why not put it on Apple to give it that streaming value so you could go home making a check rather than putting on Dat Piff? I think coming with the trends you talked about, I think that's a smart idea of a quick 5-6 track project. Bam, put it out there rather than put it on Dat Piff when it has like that mixtape feel of just barring out. Okay, let's put on iTunes now to get people to stream it. I think that's pretty dope. It's really something smart.
yeah, I think the way I anticipate it too is like the reason why I'm starting to see this trend now is because like I mean a lot of people, you know, going back to streaming, they listen to music through their mobile devices now, and of course, like I mean, with a no-brainer, like you know, music takes up a whole lot of storage, depending on like how much memory your phone can carry. So I think that's a big factor as well too, where they're trying to experiment or try something new with like you know less is more approach. So that's, I mean, I'm interested in that as well, but also I kind of raised my eyebrow a little bit. Cause like some of the artists are saying like, no, it's an album. But I mean, my argument is like, well, it's technically an EP, but I mean,
Well, what is an album? I'm just kidding.
An album
Go ahead.
is
what is an album, you know?
7 songs, minimum 20 minutes if you want to be nominated
well,
for a Grammy.
yeah,
Oh,
true.
really?
That's,
I
why,
didn't know.
that's why it's like that.
Oh,
It's,
shit.
it's like, I guess they're trying to, I don't know if this is exactly what they're trying to do, but like set a new standard. Like there's always something, not standard, but like set the new thing. Like we don't have to, I don't know, some artists, I feel like they do too much. And this is like I do all this work and I don't get any credit
That's
for
true.
a huge body of work. So we're going to give you the bare minimum and be like, look, this is what we're giving now. And it kind of
that's
sucks.
interesting.
You know,
Yeah.
it kind of sucks, but it's also like, okay, like you guys are trying something new. I don't know. I feel like for some fans it sucks because we want so much. You know,
Right.
we want more music, but then it's like more of like, this is the artist taking care of the artist.
Right.
Type
It's
thing.
understandable.
But it's cool. But I mean, at that level, I think the only reason he does it is to give people like a different way of thinking. Like you have another way of releasing music. You don't have to. You don't have to drop 24 songs on an album, and then like what 7 of those songs are good, and then the rest are just like fillers.
Just filler
you know?
tracks.
Yeah, and that could be another approach where it's like rather than taking out the fillers, it's just we're just gonna give you what we think might be the top. If we had a 10-track album, we thought maybe 5 of those weren't cookie cutters like fillers, so we rather than giving you that, we're just gonna give you 4 songs.
Yeah, give you the meat.
And I think that's a good idea, but like that's a good way of approaching. That's when you said that, and then at the same time, like it's volume 1, so we don't know if that means next month there might be 4 other songs. Following month or whenever there might be another 4, and I think that's cool because there's more anticipation involved with it. And I think it's a good way to be more creative too. So it's like volume 1 is one topic, volume 2, volume 3, blah 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 blah. So I mean, it's another way of doing certain things, which I think is pretty dope.
And another outlet, like going like what you mentioned too, like we know what the possible, volume 1, volume 2, and then later on, like once all those volumes come in, like say like a fan wants to just purchase all those, like they can just have like one specific album with all the volumes together. And then what's also interesting too is like where the fans always, well, I should say some of the fans would complain like, when's the album coming out? When's it coming out? It keeps getting delayed. Now there's an outlet like, all right, well, you guys want an album? Here's 7 tracks, but these are the best tracks. Have at it. Type of deal.
I like. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, bro.
I just like different ways of putting music out. There's like so many different ways of doing it. I like that people keep trying to change.
Yeah,
at least how it's done, which is really cool because a lot of people are just, that's how someone's doing it. We're doing it like that, then,
And I think that needs to be done right now because I think there's so many there's so many platforms out there.
Right.
Why not just why not do 4 to 5, take a break, see how they digest it. I mean, right now I think it's a great time for a lot of artists to really challenge the norm because I think that's what's really going on. I think music's in a different space right now, and I think a lot of people are starting to see it. So I think right now is a great time to experiment because I think that's really going on. Just a lot of experimental approaches to dropping albums, to making albums, to music, to sounds in general. It's crazy right now. It's interesting to see it. And I think it's a great idea to really just challenge the status quo rather than doing 13 tracks because that's a lot. Like that's a lot of work.
Yeah.
It's a lot having to experience that to 13 to 14 tracks. I mean, right now the great thing is with technology, music wise, it's somewhat easier because it's more convenient. But at the same time, I think what you said about the fillers, like at that level, I think it's like a natural. It's like you got it. I mean, you spend so many years doing it. I think at that level, especially with Ninth, there's a high standard, but it's just I guess maybe they're so not comfortable with the standard, but to them they know what they want. They know what sound they want, so they know like going back, this is not gonna cut it. It's not gonna cut it. So I think it's a good way to challenge themselves now too with that. So that's a good idea.
And then with Black Thought and Kanye, they're the first one. They're one of the few that are pushing it into. And what's ironic, like after they came out, like Nas was another one with his album where it's just 7 tracks. So that one was one of the albums I was surprised. I was anticipating more, but when I saw the track, I was like, oh, it's 7 tracks. Like, this is like when Nas has the less tracks, something's up. Huh?
Did you enjoy it?
I have to listen to it more because my first initial listen, I'm a real stickler when it comes to hip hop. So I tend to judge a track within like 5 seconds. if you don't catch me within those 5 seconds, like I'm skipping to the next track. So I mean, at the moment, if as far as like answer, I say no. There's only one track that I'm feeling, and that was Adam and Eve. But to really digest that album and to give it a fair critique and a fair review, I need to listen it to one more time before I have like a final thought,
That's
final
good that
judgment.
you want to say that. I feel like someone drops the album, the whole world just gets pissed off and says something. I'm like, damn, give it time to digest.
Yeah, and the same thing with like, you know, that song, like, what's a good example? Like Kendrick was another good album when he released Damn. Everybody was like hyped up. I was like, oh, this is the greatest album. I was like, well, it just came out an hour ago.
Yeah, hasn't been out for a day, and it's his greatest, his masterpiece. And it's like, you gotta sit on it, man. You gotta drive with it. You gotta clean the house to it. You gotta do all kinds of stuff to it, and then finally, you know, get your final thought on it after some time. Like, I'll give an album like Damn, I probably listened to it 20 times before I was like, oh, clearly there's great songs on it, but as a whole, like it's a dope album. Just because it's hard to get concepts, like a whole feel of an album. Like there's like little skits and stuff like that, and they all like fill in everything, like stuff like that. You got to listen to the whole thing.